Hi, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac.
That girl, that girl, that girl, that girl.
I'll let the narrator handle this one.
High noon at the Astro Avenue branch of Gotham City's Alchemical Bank and Trust Company. A financial institution so conservative it pays no interest at all.
You can take that several ways, none of them good. Yet there are people banking there. Everyone in Gotham City is an idiot. Someone is about to take advantage of that, as usual.
But while the customers and tellers transact the business of the day, black, magical events are brewing. For Dr. Cassandra, the evil alchemist, is about to unleash her terrible swift sword.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. Why are we quoting Civil War hymns again?
Groovy!
Wild.
By the way, they're hip and cool. You can tell by the way they say things like groovy and wild. She should make it talk.
I've had enough of you people. I'm leaving.
Gordon gets the call and takes swift, decisive action.
What's going on here?
Or not.
Yes, Commissioner.
Batfink?
Who is this speaking?
Dr. Cassandra, world-famous alchemist, occult science practitioner, and all-around evil-doing swinger.
I told you they were hip and cool. You can tell because she calls herself a swinger. She says, I'm going to put the city in a trance and you can't stop me.
What's wrong?
There's a new fiend in town, Dick.
Johnny come lately, the new fiend in town. While the opening theme is playing, Cassandra and Cabala beat the stuffing out of Gordon and O'Hara and then leave.
This mysterious unseen force? Poundings?
To coin a phrase, there is less here than meets the eye. Far less.
Begorra, Batman. That Dr. whatever her name is has struck 6 times in the past 3 hours. It's impossible to stop her.
Do you have any description of her at all for us to go on?
See this right here in me hand, boy wonder? That's what she looked like. Are you not paying attention, lad?
Miss Gordon, do you have any volumes at the Gotham City Public Library on the occult sciences?
Any number of them, Batman.
Perhaps we should take a look at them, Robin.
You don't have any in the Bat Library? For shame. At the very least, millionaire Bruce Wayne and his youthful ward Dick Grayson should have something in the stately Wayne Manor Library. One way to pad out runtime is to give people and objects the longest names or titles you can think of, and then never refer to them any other way.
All right, Cabala. Time for our anti-antidote pill.
Anti-antidote. But an antidote counteracts something harmful, so does an anti-antidote make it harmful again?
How do these pills work, Darky baby? Are we really invisible?
No, Cabala, but we may as well be. You see, after taking the pill, we blend into the background so perfectly that no one can see us. Not even someone else who takes the pill. That's why we keep bumping into each other.
As you move, the background changes, and it's different from different angles. Those are some talented pills.
Well, husbands and wives are supposed to bump into each other now and then, aren't they, baby?
Cabala, cut the personal kick. This is business.
And they really were a husband and wife. Well, sort of. Howard Duff and Ida Lupino had been married since 1951, but had separated 2 years before this episode. By all appearances, it was an amicable separation since they did stuff like this together. They didn't formally divorce until 1984. The story is murky right from the get-go, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Suffice to say, Cassandra is all business. Cabala is ready to suspend business and have some fun. But this isn't just about money for Cassandra.
Because I intend to succeed where my foremothers failed.
4 mothers?
The ancient alchemy bit has been handed down for generations to the females of my family. All abject failures, nowheresville.
You know the worst part? Some of us really did use words like that. I'm pleased to admit that I wasn't one of them.
My great-grandmother discovered how to transmute base metals into gold, but she cut out when she added CH3, CH2, H2, and NO2.
Put them all together, they spelled TNT.
They found pieces of her as far away as Londinium.
What happened to the formula? It sounds like you know it and know what not to put in it.
Now, Grandma perfected a universal solvent, fell in the stuff, and was universally dissolved.
Wow.
We buried her in a thimble.
What happened to the formula for the solvent? I could have used some with that guitar I spent weeks trying to strip.
Well, how about dear old Mommy-O?
You have to love it when the suits try to figure out what's hip, because they're usually at least 5 to 10 years behind. The expression daddy-o, and by extension here mommy-o, fell out of use by around 1962. By this time, the expression would have been the old lady, or whatever the equivalent was on the East Coast. I think Hollywood figured that out around 1975, by which time we had stopped throwing terms like that around and just said mom and dad.
Dear old Mommy-O cashed in when she perfected a perpetual motion machine, tripped, and was ground to bits by it.
Where is the machine now? We could use a few so we can stop burning the planet.
Man, you sure come from a long line of winners, baby.
Doesn't hang me up, love, because I have a plan that'll sway your brain cells.
Lay it on me.
I'm going to free all the arch criminals in the Gotham State Bastille, slip them my camouflage pill, and we become an invisible empire with yours truly as queen.
Groovy, groovy!
Okay, I did use that one. I've had multiple requests to explain this word again because the last time I put snoring over it, thinking it would seem like a boring lecture and it'd be funny if somebody was snoring during it, and it wasn't funny. People wanted to know. So first, I apologize. Second, here you go. How did we get groovy? The expression comes from a record, a vinyl disc. A record stores and reproduces sound by means of a groove that runs in a continuous spiral from the outer edges to a predefined point near the center of the disc. When that groove was made, there were little flaws in it made by vibrations in the needle that carved the master disc. Those vibrations were made by the music or whatever audio they want the record to produce. To play it back, you put the disc on a turntable running at the proper speed, then you set a swinging arm with a tiny needle in it in the outer edge of that groove. As long as your needle is in the groove, your record plays. Musicians started using "in the groove" to mean things are going smoothly. The phrase caught on in the general public, and as such words and phrases do, it underwent some changes of meaning. For a while it meant really great, and by around 1960 it also meant hip or with it in a lot of places. But the other thing that happens to such words and phrases is people get lazy with them. Thus, "in the groove" got shortened to groovy, which still carried the varied meanings of really great, which is what it meant in my region of the country, like, "that's a groovy plan, man, I've never tried putting weed up my nose before," or totally hip, like, "those are some groovy threads, man, but don't the boxes go on the lower half?" I hope that was enjoyable and informative, and next time I'll know better, so thanks to all who gave me that constructive criticism.
We're going to steal this burg blind.
Wait a minute. Aren't you forgetting 3 things?
Like, for instance,
Batman, Robin, and Batgirl.
no hassle, love. Not when they face my Alvino ray gun.
Alvino ray gun? What does it do?
Spreads a mess of wild vibrations.
Oh, Marv. Just Marv.
That's one I never heard anybody use in person, on TV, or anywhere else. I'm going to guess Cabala's a big fan of Marv Albert. He was a pretty groovy sportscaster at the time. By the way, speaking of record grooves, here's a little something you can pull on your mathematically inclined friends. Take a record, any record, and measure the distance from the outer edge to the inner spot where the sound stops. Check how long the recording is. Then ask someone to calculate how many grooves there are in the record. First commenter with the right answer gets a shout out in the next episode.
This medi-quack, Dr. Cassandra, is none other than Cassandra Spellcraft, offspring of the infamous Spellcraft clan, a group of ne'er-do-well alchemists who couldn't even make the grade in girls' pharmacy school.
She isn't a doctor of anything. She's continuing the long family tradition of being a stupid criminal.
What's that?
The portable bat phone.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, Commissioner? Mine is way more stylish.
Dr. Cassandra has challenged us, Robin. She's called the Commissioner and announced that she will steal the Mope Diamond from Spiffany's jewelry salon at precisely 2 o'clock.
I assume she did that so we can see what that albino ray gun of hers does. We catch up with her and Cabala at Spiffany's.
Welcome to Spiffany's, folks. I'm G. David Shine,
May I serve you today?
They're just browsing, Dad.
One does not browse at Spiffany's, madam. One either buys or one leaves.
But if one is not allowed to browse the merchandise, how is one to know which item one wishes to purchase? Perhaps Mr. G. David Shine should give this notion a bit more consideration. Yes, there's a good fellow.
Listen, Dad. Tell me, how much you're asking for the big rock there?
What you call a rock, madam, is the Mope Diamond and is not for sale at any price.
Not for sale? Then I guess we'll just have to kite it.
You know, he won't do anything to try and stop him. He might wrinkle his tie.
Cabala, do your thing.
I'm hip. He'll do no such thing, Dr. Cassandra.
Ah, Batman. I see you've decided to take a crack at us, but I've got your number.
And what about me? Do you have my number too?
Other women's numbers don't interest me, Batgirl.
Considering how Barbara/Batgirl drools over Bruce Wayne/Batman, I'm gonna guess it's the same with her. Cassandra pulls out her alligator ray gun.
A gun? Aren't you a little above that sort of thing, Dr. Cassandra? No style.
This is the kickiest weapon you ever dug, Batman. My own unpatented Alvino ray gun. And it's the last thing you're about to see.
Be sure to stand there and let her test it, gang. Don't do something absurd and drastic like go over there and take it away from her. It's just an elementary ray gun after all. What harm can it do?
What are you doing to our bodies?
Turns out the albumin ray gun removes the third dimension of your body. And what does that mean?
We should have heard from them by now. I'm worried.
Well, I'm sure there's nothing wrong, Commissioner. Batman's never failed us yet.
A bat fight seldom takes more than 40 seconds, and they're already half an hour late.
He's been timing these bat fights since day one.
Oh, they should be coming through that door right now.
Or perhaps under it. The abracadabra ray gun turns you into a standee.
I can't believe me eyes, Commissioner. But I must believe what I feel, and I feel their pulse.
It's a good thing a two-dimensional heart can still pump two-dimensional blood through a two-dimensional body. After a parade of doctors examines them, there's only one conclusion.
There is no known medical way to restore them. So all we can do is make them as comfortable as possible while they live out their sightless, soundless, selfless, well-flattened lives.
That shouldn't take long. They'll die of hunger and thirst within a couple of weeks. How do you propose to feed them? Give them water. And whose job is it going to be to scrape two-dimensional bat poop out of Batman's tights?
What about the voice?
What voice?
You know, the voice that answers the bat phone every now and then and asks us to hold on. Maybe he can help us, whoever he is.
It's worth a try. Anything's worth a try now.
It only took them 3 years to realize there's an actual human behind that voice. Finest police force in the land. Alfred has the commissioner mail them to a general delivery address, then puts on a disguise and picks them up to bring them back to the Batcave.
Look at them. 6 tiny pills and 6 unseen arch criminals about to wreak untold havoc.
They use their camouflage pills to slip into Gotham State Prison and release all the arch criminals currently incarcerated there. They include the big 4, Joker, Riddler, Catwoman, and Penguin, plus Egghead and King Tut. King Tut? The last time we saw him, he didn't exist. He was back to being a Yale professor, so why is he there? And by the way, don't get too excited. We never really get a good look at their faces because they're all stand-ins.
Darlings, meet me at the front gate.
I also noticed that Catwoman is white again. I find myself wondering why.
I do hope I didn't get my transistors squidged, sir, miss. Either you come out 3-dimensional or no dimensional.
The important thing is he made that big sign to put over it so everybody knows what it is.
Now, I'd best get the Batmobile back, whatever it may be. And take my departure before that girl recognizes me.
Good idea. Here we go. I think I've seen magicians do this trick. At that very moment, as fate would have it, Gordon calls to tell Batman about the escaped arch criminals.
How do we stop them?
We have to find them first.
Which calls for the special escaped arch criminal bat locator on the bat computer.
Batgirl realizes she needs to make some major upgrades to her equipment.
That must come in quite handy.
Quite every crime fighter should have one.
So why don't you build her one, you selfish snob?
According to this, they should all be in the basement of the Mortar and Pestle building on Abacadabra Alley.
Dr. Cassandra is an alchemist, a quasi-magician, so of course she'd be in Abracadabra Alley.
But how can we get there? Isn't the Batmobile still parked in front of Spiffany's jewelry store? Look, here it comes now.
Batgirl is already working on where she's going to get the money for all these upgrades she needs. Maybe if she marries millionaire Bruce Wayne.
I'm afraid I'll have to put you to sleep until we reach the city, Batgirl.
To sleep?
So you won't learn the location of the Batcave.
All right, Batman.
Guard your face, Robin.
Batman forgot to guard his own face, and Robin sat there for the next hour listening to the radio while he waited for the two of them to wake up.
You know something, Batman?
What's that, Robin?
She looks very pretty when she's asleep.
I thought you might eventually notice that.
We see her asleep so often, it was bound to happen.
That single statement indicates to me the first oncoming thrust of manhood, old chum.
Robin's reverse aging process is complete. He is now prepubescent. And by the way, she's not bad when she's awake either. Dr. Cassandra is explaining to the arch criminals how they're dividing up the city.
Catwoman gets all the fish market areas. Egghead, poultry farms. Penguin, ponds and parks. King Tut, museums. Riddler and Joker, all the amusement parks.
She provides them with the camouflage pills, and in return she gets half of everything they steal. They get a pill, they go pull a job, they come back and give her her cut, they get another pill for the next job. It's not a bad racket, especially for her and Cabala.
But be careful. Don't get knocked unconscious, or you'll all materialize again.
You foolish, foolish woman.
Quick! Swallow the pills!
This is a problem. The bad guys can move around freely, and the bats can't see them. Get out of there. Get out of there. Oh, that was brilliant. Lead with your chins in perfect unison. 2 words, Batman. Retreat.
Wait a minute. They'd be in the same boat if they couldn't see us.
Right.
I think he borrowed that from Dumbledore. And now for the most amazing bat fight you'll never see. I love it. We know we're canceled. We know we only have 1 episode left. Anything goes because why not? And Commissioner Gordon will be pleased to know that bat fight only took 18 seconds.
Groovy party, baby. Groovy.
Something must have gone wrong.
Alchemy is a highly specialized chemical science, Dr. Cassandra. Sometimes even experts go wrong.
Oh, you goof ducky, baby. The family curse again.
Well, nothing's gone wrong with my flattening Alvino ray gun.
I took the precaution of inserting an anti-Alvino ray bat disintegrator in my utility belt.
Naturally, he had an anti-aloe vera ray gun device in a drawer back in the Batcave. With all the arch criminals back in prison, Commissioner Gordon is going to take a little break.
Commissioner, you don't suppose Dr. Cassandra and Cabala could pop their way out of Gotham State Prison?
Not the way Warden Crichton pops them in, Chief O'Hara.
But if she manages to smuggle one of her camouflage pills...
The prison matron isn't named Mrs. Frisk for nothing, Chief O'Hara. Besides, the warden had special polka dot cells painted for them. They won't blend into that background.
So they can blend into a background like this, but not polka dots. Gordon isn't thinking about polka dots right now. He's thinking about Minerva's famous eggplant jelly scalp massage.
And after treatment in my mineral spa, you'll feel like a new man. I certainly feel like a new man.
I do not want to know. There's a lot more to Minerva's spa than meets the eye, as we'll learn next time. I hate to say it, but Dr. Cassandra was bland. She has one alchemy trick, the camouflage pills, and in the end that failed. Beyond that, she's a woman with an attitude and a dippy husband. Cabala contributes nothing. Then there's her plot. Free the arch criminals and dominate the city. How many minutes will it be before the arch criminals turn on her, take the pills by force, and cut her out of the deal? Plus, she told Batman she was going to put the city into a trance, and that plotline fell right into Gotham Harbor and was never seen again. It's listed as missing, presumed drowned. And then there's the Arboretum ray gun. The military is going to want to take a look at that because cardboard cutouts would be much easier to defeat than actual soldiers. The one thing that rescues this episode is all the ad hoc bat gadgets. It's all so over the top you can't help but laugh at it.
Batman! Professor Stinko has backed up the sewers. There's poop running down the streets.
Not to worry, Robin. I'll use my all-purpose bat poop reverser to send it back down the sewer drains. This has been the season for specialized bat gadgets that only serve the immediate purpose. And that's okay, we're free to be as silly as we want, especially now at the end. But it all stays in character, so to speak, which is to say, we've gotten to know Batman well enough that he's likely to figure out a way to counter an arabesque ray gun and put it in his utility belt. It's something we can see him doing after the first time he encounters the weapon. But now he has a bigger task: build a bat computer for Batgirl. It might even get him that date he's so desperately trying to avoid asking her on. I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac.